Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Tell me what I'm going to talk to you today about, and this video is Celebrity Roundup. And this Celebrity Roundup video, I'll be talking about Mama's Tina Gumbo being closed down at the Houston Rodeo. I also will be talking about, I thought I talked about this in the last video, but I didn't, that Access Hollywood is being canceled along with the Karamo show and that other show that was similar to Jerry Springer. I can't think of the name of that show right now. I think it's Jim Woodfall or something. Anyway, I'll put in the video. I also will be talking about the Oscars and how Michael B. Jordan was so surprised that he won for Best Actor. I also will be talking about Paramount Plus closing down BET streaming service, BET Plus streaming service, and adding it to Paramount Plus. I also will be talking about this rumor about Marlo Hampton dating but Tyler Perry. I also will be talking about this the Manon from the girl groups Kateseye supposedly coming back to the group on April the 10th. I also will be talking about fans wanting the money to do with music. Those are just some of the things that I'll be talking about in this celebrity roundup video. Let me pause this video while I bring up the Mama Tina story. And back, I found it. It says Houston Health Department temporarily shuts down Mama Tina's Gumbo at the Houston Rodeo. This was last week. It says all Houston livestock show and rodeo exhibitors must comply with all of the rules, regulations, and requirements of the fire marshal in the city of Houston Health Department, and only governmental entities having jurisdiction over these premises. To our knowledge, Mama Tina's Gumbo has been cooperating with the city of Houston Health Department and has worked closely with them to address the identified clerical issues. Mama Tina's has since responds under the guidelines of the Houston Health Department. And so the health department said that they had because first they were saying the rodeo staff saying it was clerical issues, but it wasn't any clerical issues. It was the fact that the they said it was had to do with the meat with the shrimp and the seafood meat not being at the right temperature, and also they were supposed to have that where it had a cooling place and stuff like that for the food, and it was also because of people that got sick. Now that first TikTok video I did with that first young lady, I really do believe that she got sick. The second guy who was sweating that I saw, he got sick. But some of these other people that were talking about they were sick, and like I said, I thought it was gonna be a little bit over. People still talking about this week, and then they got some people talking about they ate the gumbo and they threw up blood and this, that, and the other. And I would say a lot of these people are just going overboard and taking this stuff out of proportion and stuff like that. I have worked in several restaurants and stuff, and they do say that freezer that you keep your meat in has to be between 36 and 38 degrees. Anything lower than that, the meat is gonna sour and get right. Anything higher than that, the meat gonna freeze too hard, and you have a long time throwing it out. And I think a lot of people was looking at that. And so, by me staying in Houston, they had already said it on news that that the rodeo people had already gave her a venue to put her stuff in where they did have like a freezer or a cooler or something like that. But I guess by her being with this third party vendor, they wanted to kind of be, I guess, at the vending stand outside and stuff. Now, like I said, a lot of people was talking about it was so hot in Houston. I'm looking at y'all coming from New Orleans and all these other places, and I'm looking at I've been to New Orleans at least twice, and New Orleans get just as hot as Texas sometimes. But anyway, I kind of feel bad for Miss Tina. I kind of hate that this happened to her, and I think people were blowing it out of proportion because it was Beyonce's mama and because it was Miss Tina. She just wanted to share her gumbo with people and stuff, and I didn't like certain people getting on their TikTok and their YouTube and stuff, talking about Texas and talking about this and in Texas. They don't know how to make a gumbo in Texas. And like one woman I saw yesterday on TikTok, she was similar to my age, and she said, "Yeah, we like gumbo down here in Houston and stuff like that, but we ain't going crazy over no gumbo. We just want to taste that gumbo." Now, certain people make gumbo different. I know my sister, she used to make gumbo, but she used to make it where it tastes real good and seasoned and stuff because she couldn't eat the seafood. She couldn't eat the crab and the shrimp because it would break her out. So what she would do, she would make two different gumbos. She'd make a gumbo with shrimp and all the seafood stuff in it for her kids and her other family members, and include me. But the gumbo that she made for herself, it was only a sausage gumbo. So I think Mama Tina should have did that in case some people don't can't eat sausages or can't eat this or can't eat that. And then they had some people from New Orleans and Louisiana talking about it. Some people was complaining about it was watery and the roux wasn't good. And I was saying, well, my sister never made no gumbo with no roux. But anyway, I'm kind of glad that we opened back Mama Tina's thing, and also Latoya Lucker was there to support her when it first opened up. Now, as far as these people talking about Texas ain't got no places for people to go, they do have places for people to go. And as far as these people talking about Houston ain't got nowhere to turn up, yeah, they do got places to turn up, but they in the ghetto. And if you want to go to ghetto and turn up, oh yeah, you can go to ghetto in Houston and turn up. If you try to look for a nice place in Houston don't do no turn up and stuff like that. So there's other things down here in Houston that you can do. But if you're a person that's looking for a turn up city, Houston is not it. And it brings me back to when they had Hurricane Trina, and the same New Orleans people was complaining about Texas was so boring. But then y'all left went back to y'all home state, but y'all wound up tearing up Texas. And also when they decided to open up Miami last week, as far as the spring breakers, that Miami governor said no. He said y'all they got a specific place designated for them, and they didn't want nobody acting a fool and stuff. Because even some of those people that came down here, they thought they could come down here and have all kind of parties at the gas station and all that kind of stuff. And when it is, they had to wind up breaking them up a whole lot of and stuff like that. So I hate when we try to extend our hand to other cities and they come down here and tear Houston down and try to tear Houston down and make us look bad. We already be looking bad for our own self. But anyway, that's all I have on the Mama Tina story. Let me move on to the next story. Um, Yeah, it says Tiana Taylor calls out security guard at the Oscars after being shoved. I don't blame her because I saw the clip and she was trying her best to crowd because she was trying her best to go through that crowd. And I guess that security guard, you could tell it was a white person. You guess the security guard was trying to push her home because that white lady that was in front of her, she said, "Oh, they pushing." And Tiana said, "Yeah, they sure is pushing." And he said, "Don't be pushing me." And then they tried to say that she was being, kind of, I guess, aggressive and all that stuff, but she was not. That man just really literally pushed. I saw the clip 2 or 3 times. He literally pushed Tiana Taylor, trying to push her on up in line, and the line was already what you call. But then the Oscar people they came out and said that they wanted all of their guests to be treated equally and fairly, and they was gonna look into it, and it was gonna be an investigation. Now, on the other part of the Oscars, I was kind of shocked and surprised too because it was like every time they would call Michael B. Jordan's name as far as the Golden Globes and all other kind of awards. He wasn't winning. They would give it to that Timothy Chalamet guy and that other guy because he was on the thing. And so a lot of people, the only people weren't surprised by the NAACP awards, because that's strictly mostly for black people. But anyway, when he won that, he was so happy. So it was like when he won the Oscar, he was just so shocked and surprised when that man called his name. I was too. I mean, because I was gonna look at it just for that. Then I thought about it. I said, well, no, he ain't gonna win. I ain't gonna watch it. And so when I watched the clips back, he was just so shocked and surprised. He hugged his mama. He thanked his mama. And then he said that if it hadn't been for the people who came before him, like Sidney Poitier and Denzel Washington, and also Halle Berry and Jamie Foxx. He named just a few of them. And Jamie Foxx said he was glad that he won, and he said a little bit something about it. And then everybody was happy about the Sinners performance. Everybody liked it that. I saw a little clip to the Sinners performance too, and I liked that. And they said they liked the way Minnie Copeland came out. Now, some of the fashions I did like Ryan Coogler and his wife with their fashion, and and Damon Iris had that black suit on. I like what he had, and I already know what you call had Michael B. Jordan. But all in all, the Oscars was good. Now let me pause this video so I can get a drink of water. Back to the Oscars for a little bit. This is what it says. It says Usher and Justin Bieber reportedly get into heated exchange at the Carter's Oscar after party. And I was saying, huh? I thought him and Justin Bieber were real good friends and stuff like that. But I don't know what was the argument about. A lot of people don't know, but they were just saying they got into a heated argument. It says news stories for real reports that it reports from March 19, 2026, um, indicates that Usher and Justin Bieber were involved in a heated exchange at an exclusive Oscar after party hosted by Beyonce and Jay-Z, referred to as the Gold Party. Sources report that Usher approached Bieber with energy, and the singer leaded to an intense verbal altercation. While some initial rumors suggest the encounter turned into a fist fight, sources close to Bieber clarified that there was no physical contact. The argument was reportedly brief and did not drag on. The tensions followed up a period where the two artists, formerly mentors and protégés, reportedly unfollowed each other on social media. Some indicate suggestions that Bieber has been attempting to distance himself from the figure in his part. Neither Usher nor Justin Bieber have officially commented on the reports as of this date. Yeah, and it was like right after they mentioned about this article, Usher got on his Instagram and talking about people are doing Diddy wrong. The justice system and people are doing Diddy wrong. Diddy is unfairly being treated. And I said, huh? What? Unfairly being treated. I said, did you see the video that everybody else saw where he was dragging Cassie on the floor and stuff like that? And like I said, I've been a fan of Usher ever since the 90s, and he was a little boy and stuff like that. And stuff like that. My niece used to tell me, and my niece used to tell me I was younger then. She used to tell me, that's a teenage boy and stuff like that. I said, well, he's still handsome and cute, but like I said, as I got older, I knew it was, I just had a little crush. Some people have crush on me. But anyway, that was just a young teenage thing that I had. I was like in my early 20s and stuff like this. So, and so stuff like that. But as I grow older, I just grow out of a lot of stuff that I did when I was younger. But anyway, I think when Usher came out with that statement, that's what the argument was about Puffy, and everybody kind of figured it, but it was kind of confirmed when Usher came out and talking about that stuff about the man was being treated unfairly. Anyway, on another note, they had said something about they were gonna have a lot of people at the Met Gala, and some of them were Lizzo, some of them was Lizzo and Tiana Taylor, and I think Cardi B and Kelly Rowland. And a couple of more. I just named a few off the list, but there was a lot on the list. And I think Scissor was on the list too. On to the next subject. Right here, Tyler Perry spotted with a new girlfriend. Everybody went crazy. New girlfriend, new girlfriend. Then when people got looking at the picture, oh, they look like Marlo Hampton from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then so when it came out, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, that was it, that was it." Then it came out that it was not Marlo Hampton, that it was AI, and it came out through Lauren Lorenzo. She came on her Instagram and she said, "No, I got a source who was close to the party that said that Jason Lee had invited Marlo and had invited Tyler Perry to his party." And stuff. And what it was, Marlo wanted to take a picture with Tyler Perry, and somebody put it on where they was kissing and doing all that stuff, but it wasn't that. And so they really put out the real picture. The real picture showed that Marlo and What's Called just took one picture together, and then they were showed holding hands and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, AI is good, but then AI is bad for some stuff and stuff like that. Uh, I got one more story. I'll pause this video and then I'll be through. Okay, I'm back. Also, Kelly Rowland and her husband was probably at the white party, and they had a nice black dress and a suit, and then they did it black and white. Also, also, they said, I think it was last week or week before last, that Tiki Shepard from Showtime at the Apollo had passed away. That's what I remember from. They said she was an actress and a singer, and she did other kind of stuff. And also, Chuck Norris had passed away too last week, and I remember him from Walker, Texas Ranger. But now back to this story about Manon from Cat's Eye. And I'm going to read to you what it says. It says, Manon trending worldwide on Twitter after Kateseye Lollapalooza Argentina performance. And see, I think with those girls, because those girls, one of those girls was saying, well, we can do it with a five-member group. We can do it with a five-member group. And then when that girl, Daniela, that was supposed to be her friend, when her daddy kept coming out talking about five members is good, five members is good. And that's what they were just saying right here. If you read into and read to the fine line, they had a lot of Palooza thing in Argentina, but instead of people talking about the concert and how good their performance was, they was talking about the girl that was not in the group. So that lets you know that this Mano girl is the glue of the group. When you have manufactured groups and stuff that are just manufactured. When one member is missing, the group almost falls apart. And they was putting this Mano girl in the back because she was mixed race black, and even though she could sing better than all the rest of those mixed race Asian girls and Brazilian girls, she could sing better than them. She could dance better than them. So when they tried to put out that live while she was lazy, you could see it from the TV screen, and that wasn't no lazy performances that she was doing. And then it came out a couple of days later that supposedly she's supposed to be coming back to the group on April the 10th. And then supposedly that's when they're supposed to put out their next album. So what it was, the writing was always on the wall. So they know if they don't get Mano back, nobody's gonna watch those other girls. Now, like I said, Danielle is probably the second because she can sing pretty good and her dance is okay. But the rest of them girls are subpar. And like I said when I did my first video on them, a lot of these, and that's why it was a big debate after they tried to put out that narrative about she was lazy and didn't want to work. And that's when the narrative came up, and even Essence did a whole thing on about black girls being in these mixed race groups and how it was a big topic right after this, and it's still a big topic. So I'm glad, but if man don't come back, they're gonna have to treat her better than what they do it because as you can see they were trying to push her out. That's all I have for this video. This is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. I am out.